This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Today's video is brought to you by OneRep. In just a moment, I'm going to talk about an offer exclusive to you and my audience that I truly think will benefit you just as it has me in my use of their product. Before I get to that, though, I want to talk about there's a divide in America, and I don't just mean the divide between Democrats and Republicans. I'm talking about a divide of an information gap, a divide of a belief system. There are still, alarmingly, in my opinion, still a lot of people who don't take what took place on January 6th, the insurrection, as seriously as they should. They think it was just some disgruntled Trump supporters who things got out of hand. I still get emails, even from Democrats, even from liberals, even from people who don't profess to be Republicans. And because of the investigation that is taking place right now by the House Select Committee investigating the events on January 6th, we're learning a lot more about what took place. We're learning that there was a concerted effort underway from the moment that Trump lost the election, the beginning of November up until even the inauguration day, January 20th, 2021, that there was an effort underway, a concerted effort to usurp democracy, to disenfranchise tens of millions of Americans, nearly 100 million Americans. If you voted for Joe Biden, the effort was to try to disenfranchise you, to nullify your vote. The American people spoke, the Republican Party didn't like what was said, and they tried to do away with the result. Well, there is a reporter that I'm going to talk about and show some screenshots from some emails. There was an attachment inside of Mark Meadows' emails that has now been uncovered because of the investigation. And there is some alarming stuff in there. And we're going to talk about that on the other side. But before we do, a word from today's sponsor, OneRep. Have you ever experienced backlash simply for speaking your mind? Here on the show, I'm not afraid to use my platform. I feel it's my duty to speak out against injustice and also to speak up for those who may not be able to use their own voice. As you might imagine, there are sometimes repercussions for being so outspoken. You'd be blown away by the number of angry phone calls and emails that I receive, rage-filled tirades against me, threats of disgrace and acute bodily harm, and even, occasionally, death threats. While I take most of these misguided outpourings with a grain of salt or even a laugh, I also go to great lengths to protect myself online. A main sense of defense is OneRep. OneRep wipes your private records from over 100 search sites and data brokers who use your data to attract visitors or even sell your personal information. These sites and brokers can expose anything from your home address to your credit score, your property records, to your income. We see cases of personal attacks in the news every week, if not every day. Marjorie Taylor Greene just recently doxed all GOP House members who voted in support of the infrastructure bill. A school board member is facing removal after doxing parents at a Fort Worth school for their opposition to the school's mask mandate. And Twitter, this last week, has been battling misuse of its new privacy rules intended to protect people from being doxed. Take a moment for your online safety today. Go to deal.onerep.com/Dollemore and enjoy 60% off as a member of my audience. For as little as $5.85 per month, you can instantly shield yourself from the criminal elements of the web. So much protection for so little dough. So there's a reporter. He is the congressional correspondent or the congressional reporter for The Guardian. His name is Hugo Lowell. And yesterday he tweeted 2 screenshots from a PowerPoint that was uncovered in the documents that Mark Meadows turned over to the House Select Committee. And in this PowerPoint, well, first I'll just read his tweets from yesterday. This one from 9:03 a.m. yesterday, Pacific time. Latest, Trump White House chief Mark Meadows turned over to January 6th committee an email that referred to a PowerPoint calling for Trump to declare a national security emergency and have VP Pence delay Biden's certification. 3 minutes later, he followed it up with the PowerPoint titled Election Fraud, Foreign Interference and Options for January 6th, and dated January 5th, came up in an email Meadows gave to January 6th committee about a briefing that was to be provided on the Hill. So what this means is that this PowerPoint, probably more than just these 2 slides, were to be part of a briefing to members of Congress about what the Donald Trump administration was doing in an attempt to overturn the results of the election. A brazen anti-democratic move. Because again, for those of you in the back of the room, you might be trolling, watching this video, owning the libs by watching the libs video. There was a concerted effort to overturn the election in the face of zero evidence of any fraud. Dozens and dozens and dozens of courts threw out Donald Trump's cases because they contained nothing. You hear weird argument, this person did this, and there was these ballots, and they were set on fire, and there was a water main break. Blah. All of this is subterfuge and misinformation. Disinformation. Lies. Yeah, certain things happen. They happen every single election, but nothing widespread happened on a level that could have impacted the results or disenfranchised the 7 million more Americans that voted for Joe Biden than Donald Trump. It is laughable to even ponder the idea that a president with the lowest overall approval ratings in the history of polling presidents would somehow, in a landslide, win the election. When the overwhelming majority of Americans were displeased with Donald Trump's performance as president, why would anybody think he was going to walk away with the election in a landslide? Dum-dums. These are alarming. This is the first page here. Options for January 6th. Vice President Pence seats Republican electors over the objections of Democrats in states where fraud occurred. Vice President Pence rejects the electors from states where fraud occurred, causing the election to be decided by remaining electoral votes. Vice President Pence delays the decision in order to allow for a vetting and subsequent counting of all the legal paper ballots. There's no mechanism for these things. This is extra-constitutional. This was a power grab under the guise of some legalese language. This second slide is the most alarming one. Recommendations. Brief senators and congressmen on foreign interference. What foreign interference? The only foreign interference that was substantive in any way, I mean, there's always different disparate elements trying to monkey with our democracy. China, Israel spies on us, but Russia has been singled out. There were indictments from the Mueller report of specific Russian nationals who were hacking and attempting to toy with our democracy. They interfered, and Trump was their guy. They far preferred Trump over Hillary Clinton in 2016. And the interference effort, the interference campaign by Russia continued in 2020. So I don't know what foreign interference they're talking about that they'd be briefing the Senate and the House on. Declare national security emergency. If those 4 words don't send a shudder down your spine, if they don't set off alarm bells in your head, you need to reevaluate how you think about the strength or weakness of our democracy. The thought that a sitting on the way out president would be able to declare a national security emergency in an effort to stop the sitting of a new president, of the assumption of office, it's a thing of Hollywood. It's like a Bruce Willis movie. Next point, foreign influence and control of electronic voting systems. Declare electronic voting in all states invalid, which would be the federal government taking over statewide elections, which the Constitution gives them purview over. All of this is extra constitutional. All of this is alarming. All of this was the plan. And legal and genuine paper ballot counts or constitutional remedy delegated to Congress. This is but 2 pages of some of the evidence that the House Select Committee is getting. And let me tell you, we'd better wake up. It is not hyperbole. It is not an exaggeration. It is not clickbait to say that we are under threat. Our democracy is under attack. And it is Republicans who are at the tip of the spear attacking our democracy. And by virtue of that, and by extension of that, our country and the inhabitants therein. You are under attack if you voted for Joe Biden. They don't want you voting. They don't want you as a part of this country. They want to control it. They want to say who wins elections, and they are making efforts in that vein. What do you think, though? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail. Where are you with this? 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for subscribing. Checking out as many videos as you do during the week. It's Friday. Can't talk. Follow me on social media. I would love to connect with you there. I'm at Dollemore everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok even. And if you appreciate what I do, if I bring a salient voice or a smile to your day, if you appreciate what I do, please consider supporting my work, helping produce my work. You can click the join button below this video, become a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month. You can't even get a little cup of coffee for $1.99. Oh, the world. And Patreon, if that's your thing, is also a great way. You can go to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast, not just for the podcast, also for the YouTube videos. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.